We are live, and as always, not financial advice, for educational purposes only. Yesterday, if you're following along, here's my SPX. This comes in my levels, my indicator. It's 2 for 2, and this would have been 3 for 3, but I just started publishing them yesterday or the day before yesterday. So as you can see, yesterday, this was our 3rd hour close right here, the end of this white bar with this little L shape. Once it closed, it populates where your floor and your roof is for the day. Okay. Based on where it closed and the things that it did within those first 3 hours, you can see the percentages, how they vary and what happens. Okay. Right here was the close. When it sold down here, you could have sold this floor anywhere in this candle, really. So you don't have to be super fast. You could have sold the put at this S 0.5, and it rode all the way up. Now, here's where it's the white knuckle. You hold it till the close, and that 84% rings true. You get this close above that level, which means nothing in our system. This is still 84% based off of 10 years of historical data. And then guess what happens at the end of the day? So you could have sold both sides. You could have did like an iron condor, sold the put side here, sold the call side here. You could have really sold it when it got above it, or you could have reached up and even sold the 87%. So follow along. I post those in my Discord every day because at the end of the 3rd hour, just to let people know, it's the fastest way I can get it out. And like I said, when you do purchase the levels, this will come with it. And I'll be sending these files out to the people that already have the indicator today. I will send this out. It doesn't seem, I've back tested everything. I think I'm bug free at this point, and I will continue to monitor that very close. All right. NVIDIA, making the world go round. That's what it's doing. Here's the NQ on the monthly. You can see we had that break. When I flip over to my weekly, which is what we like to run dual chart wise, especially just to see we're in the bigger picture and take the easier trades, breaks the pivot over here, we fall. Rally back to the pivot, resistance, still not holding well. What does it do after NVIDIA earnings? It gaps the pivot, okay, and then comes down here and bounces right off of this pivot. And currently we're trading about 151, we'll call it 160 points above the pivot. That's why these are great. Now you have a bullish lean unless that 23,392 breaks. If that doesn't break, there's no reason to be bearish. If this level comes down here and tests and holds and takes off again, it's bullish. If it comes down here and cuts through it, get out of the way. Okay. That's what you're doing on the NQ. When you look at the monthly, what's my first target? Right here, 29,885. And why is that my first target? Look back here at the beginning of the month, the respect that it had off of the pivot, resistance, 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 peaked above, and then failed. Okay, you're putting in this kind of shallow bottom right here. And like I said, that's right off of the pivot. We want to know that this is the pivot right here on our weekly. So if I have this, if I don't have this indicator, if you haven't purchased it and you cannot populate these charts yourself, if you have the weekly and monthly levels marked on your screen, okay, just right click, add level, add a line, know that it's the weekly. Some people color coordinate them different. Some people size them different. So they know, hey, this was big time resistance and now it's support. Okay, it's very simple, and it populates all that for you where you do not have to do that as long as you have Thinkorswim. I can get these to you and you can have all of them that you would like to look at. Let's jump out and look at the ES. I just think that NVIDIA the whole world was waiting on that, and now they will wait on the Fed minutes or the Jackson Hole meeting Friday. So we'll see what they've got to say. ES, same way, was holding pivot, could not get above that. And now we have decided to peak above on the weekly. Same concept. If it breaks that pivot on the weekly, this is a great bull bear line for every week. Okay. Above that, you have to lean bearish until we hit a first target. Right now, we are not there. On the monthly, same thing, has this target up here at 77.93. You can see how well it has respected that target this month. Resistance, resistance, then above, peak above, just like the NASDAQ comes down. One time it's support, great. Second time it breaks. Once it breaks and gets under it, that's a no-go for this level. It's broke. Now it's resistance until proven otherwise. That's about, what, 70 points higher from here, 75 points. We'll see if we can get a test of that today, tomorrow. We'll see how they play this into the end of the week, or do they just roll it over? Both the NQ and the ES, watch your weekly pivot till Friday at the close. That's going to be your tell as to where this market's going to want to go. Are they going to just want to sit it up here and chop it, let it drift higher? Who knows? But I know this. We're above this weekly pivot. No reason to fight that, okay? The VIX, the old volatility index. Within the next couple of weeks, I'd expect a spike here, but we can't anticipate or guess. What we can do is watch the levels very, very closely. This is the weekly pivot. We've been really monitoring monthly, and I'll flip to it next. And as you can see, resistance, resistance, and it's just having a hard time finding any traction. Can't get above the weekly pivot. Well, for all month long, here's your VIX line in the sand. Very simple. Very, very simple. We looked above it one time on a spike and then failed, and immediately once we fall, this is the best thing that you'll ever see when you're playing levels. A retest and a fail. It's acknowledging, hey, this is real resistance. All we're doing is retesting and falling. As the VIX goes down, the stock market 9 times out of 10 likes that. You will hardly ever see them in contango where the VIX is going down or staying down here and the market is not trying to stay healthy. Keep that in mind. Watch the VIX and see what it does. Anything above this 1603 for the month, which we're running out a month, anything above that, it's a much more volatile situation. So keep that in mind if you're playing this. Let's go look at SMH. We've been tracking it very close. See how it's doing this morning. See if it's making levels, and it is. This monthly R1, we know that pre-market, just like we are right now, the other day, which is only a minute 30 seconds, but it was resistance, right? Just like this. And then it sold off. Watch this level, 578.67. If it can clear that, you've got a bullish bent. If not, just be careful. You've got the pivots on the ES and the NQ to keep you honest on the weekly, okay? That's what I would base all of my decisions off of from here on out, unless you're using my daily levels and my 4-hour. If you're using my daily, you flip over to the daily, and they will be much tighter, and you can play that intraday, and the 4-hour pivots, you can play them intraday as well. And I always recommend a 2-minute chart on the 4-hour pivots, okay, and a 5-minute chart on the daily pivots. As you can see on the monthly pivots, I run a 1-hour chart. And on the weekly, I run a 15-minute. And that gives me the momentum and the things that I want to see on my candles. Let's look at gold. Gold's always a hot topic. And I do have a lot of people that day trade gold. Gold doing exactly what it should do. It's walking the stairs up. Pivot, walks the stair, gets up here. Now we're going to come back down, potentially retest that 45.93. If not, it'll just continue to march higher. But I would look, if I was wanting to buy gold and I was bullish gold and I think gold's going to the moon, I would want a retest of this 45.93, because I'm not going to get in here at 46.41 and hold that all the way here to find out if it's a good level. Okay. So keep that in mind. That's how we use every level. If I'm doing that on a daily pivot, a weekly pivot, a 4-hour pivot, a quarterly pivot, a yearly pivot, I want to be at the level, because that is my bull bear line at that moment in time. And as long as it holds, it goes higher. Okay. If not, then it becomes resistance until proven otherwise. Just like here, it was resistance once, come down, gets above it. And now once we're above it and closing above it, that is support until proven otherwise. So you take an entry that's 8 points off of this and you say, hey, as long as this doesn't break, I'm going to ride with a higher thesis. And that was good for a, 200-point run on gold, or 165 points. So keep those things in mind today as you navigate the market. We will take a quick peek at oil. I know that it seems like they're getting everything ironed out, and that's why I always use caution on following talking heads on the news, because things never seem to be what they are. You just got to play the levels and know. So oil broke that monthly pivot, found support at S1, walked up, broke above, retest, beautiful, okay, all the way to R1. So that's a almost $7 move in oil. We get there and we cannot continue higher. It's that simple. We come back down, and guess where we bounce? The pivot. Do not make this harder than it is. You've got these lines on your chart for a reason. They respect them. Use them as your bull bear lines, okay? And when we're below pivots, know that they are resistance. And you can see this is beautiful symmetry on the weekly pivot with the monthly, because it is lining up with that bounce on the monthly. So you got a weekly S1 at 80.17. You got the pivot at 80.10. You know that when we overlap two levels, it becomes double support at that point, okay? That's a major, major level. So when I look at these side by side, you can see these two line up. This weekly pivot at S1 lines up with this monthly pivot here. When you have that, it's a big level. If that $80, let's just call it $80. If that $80 breaks to the downside, oil is going lower. If it holds, it has a great opportunity to go up and find these upper targets. That's what you're looking for today in oil. Do not complicate it. It's very simple, and it will keep you on the right side of the chart. I will look at silver. Silver is still below the weekly pivot right here on my right screen, okay? 69.35. You need a break above and a test and hold for silver to continue on to upper targets, okay? Now, at the end of the month, we will have new monthly targets. So at the beginning of next month, as soon as the futures open on the first trading day of next month, so it'll be Sunday evening at 5 p.m., I will post your new monthly targets and your new weekly targets. Let me see when the month actually rolls over, because I think it is Monday. So Tuesday we'll have the new monthly targets that'll be posted on my Substack for the paid users, and the new weekly targets, okay? So keep that in mind. Mark them on your chart. I don't care what ticker you're trading. If I do not post that ticker, all you have to do is send me a direct message on Substack and say, hey, I'd really love to see the monthlies on Apple or NVIDIA, whoever, right? And I can get that to you and mark them on your chart so you know how to use these levels. If not, you are behind, okay? And you do not have major targets. We have major targets that are proven over 20 years of data. The way we calculate this is a look back over 20 years, and they are spot on 95% of the time. Like, the interaction is crazy. You just can't make it up. And I post examples all the time, and I will continue to post examples and show you, you need these on your chart. If you have Thinkorswim, I will send you the script, and you get the momentum candles. You also are getting the SPX daily that gives you the percentages, which makes it so simple. We're going to wait till that third hour bar closes, wherever it may be. And it tells you the percentage of, based on how that bar closed, these first 3 hours closed, of where your top and where your bottom resides percentage wise. And this is a perfect prime example. We close right in, this was the first trade that I posted. We close right at the pivot, right below it. That's an 81% chance of winning. Okay. Simple enough, right? You sell this pivot, and look, that last hour, you have to hold it till close. That's the whole thing. That your risk management is the sizing of your spread versus your account. This is a huge credit that you can sell this for. It gets up here, and guess where it settles? What, 2 points below it or so? 3 points? Doesn't matter. What matters is 81% of the time, it's going to close here underneath the red line. This is your stat right here. 84% of the time, it's going to close below this level yesterday, which here's your pivot. Here's your R5, R.5, I'm sorry. And the only difference between the days are I've put a midline in between each level that gets calculated just to give you a better representation of that percentage to sell that credit spread, because I want to be as close to the money as I can get. When you are here, you can sell this 88% right here, especially on this flush down, right? That's a huge credit. Once you change to up here, if you want to sell this pack credit here, you can win on both sides. So it's just a great way to play it. This day I sold the roof. I should have sold both sides, the floor and the roof, but the difference in going into an iron condor blind where you're going to sell both sides and you're going to say, hey, it's going to close in the middle of them. When it flushes here, I can sell this floor. When we get up here, I can sell this pivot, and I've already got max profit on this floor. I can sell the pivot if the credit's good, and now I can capitalize on both sides. I don't have to take the iron condor blind. I know my percentages, and I know where I'm right or wrong. All right, with that, I'm going to leave you. I will continue to post. I will put this 3rd hour trade out on my Discord and just say, hey, here's your percentages. This is a screenshot of it. That's what I did yesterday. Here's your trade, and you can do with it as you wish. If I'm day trading, I'm going to look at this and know that when we flush down here, 88% of the time, this is the bottom for the day. So the closer we get down in here, if I'm wanting a scalp trade, I'm going to look to buy some futures contracts either on the ES or the NQ and know that I've got an 88% chance of survival of winning that day. If I'm running my NQ on a split screen, I have my daily levels, my weekly levels, my monthly levels, and then I can use this to my advantage to know where the day is going to finish with the highest probability. All right. With that, I will leave you. And as always, we will talk soon.